Welcome. How are you doing today? Last we spoke, I was not feeling very good about my life because a friend I had known for a long time passed away, suddenly, unexpectedly, and at a relatively young age. His memorial is scheduled for the day after my sister's wedding. What a wild ride. Day before yesterday, my mom sent me a text message giving me a heads up that one of my uncles has been in and out of the hospital over the past couple weeks. And a phrase that she used was, "It's all happening so fast." My uncle is having issues with his heart, kidneys, and liver. And realistically, I know not to be too hopeful about it, because people in my life tend to fucking die, you know? So I want to talk about Helloleesh for a moment. I can't stand that chick. I think she's a fucking menace to the internet. She started her YouTube career bitching and moaning about Gabbie Hanna, and then she continued to bitch and moan about Gabbie Hanna. And then in September of 2021, multiple old karaoke recordings, and by old, I mean they're from 5 years ago, but 5 years ago, Helloleesh was 30. So several karaoke recordings where she sang the N-word and the F-slur. And I think that was really the straw that broke the camel's back, because her friends, people who thought they were her friends, had been getting pretty sick of her bullshit, because apparently she treats people poorly. She tried to do an apology video and then just continue posting videos and doing live streams as normal, and people were not having it. So she ran away and hid out in her little Patreon pillow fort. She would do unlisted videos and unlisted live streams on YouTube. And several months ago, I got my hands on a link to one of her secret little streams. It made me angry. So, in Helloleesh's "I'm sorry I said the N-word and the F-slur" video, she says two things. She says those are mean and nasty words that I was raised not to use. And then she also says that I didn't know that I couldn't say those words. Which is it? Pick one. Anyway, so in her unlisted stream that I watched from several months ago, she talks about how people have gaps in their knowledge and everybody learns things at different stages in their life, and how she simply did not know that it wasn't okay for her to sing those words when they are lyrics. And she talks about when the karaoke videos were recorded, 2016. She talks about everything going on in her life in 2016, what she was going through, and how she'd been trying to figure out what was going on at that time in her life that made her think that it was okay to sing those words in multiple karaoke songs. She talks about how her aunt died of cancer, and what stuck out to me is that she said, everybody knows somebody whose aunt died of cancer, but you typically think of an older woman who, whatever. But she says something to the effect of, but my aunt's cancer was different. She goes on to explain how her aunt's cancer diagnosis and death at a relatively young age was somehow worse than other people's aunts dying of cancer, and how hard it was on her. I filmed a video about this several months ago. I couldn't edit it. It made me too angry. So she talks about her aunt dying of cancer for about an hour before she circles back to say, well, that's what was going on in my life in 2016, and that's why I guess I thought it was okay to sing the N-word and the F-slur on a karaoke app. Everyone knows someone whose aunt died of cancer. Alicia, you're not going to win this fucking game with me. I have 3 aunts who died of cancer. I watched all of my cousins lose their mothers. I watched my mom lose all of her siblings. I have the fucking BRCA mutation. I have a 70% chance of getting breast or ovarian cancer just because my mom had the nerve to procreate. And I know, like, we're not supposed to judge how people grieve or tell them how to grieve. But I'm not a member of this polite society. I'm gonna tell you how not to grieve. Don't say the fucking N-word. Ta-da! If she'd put on one of her weird little dresses and thrown a fucking unbirthday tea party after her aunt passed away, I would understand. If she was going so bananas that she needed to, like, hide in her bedroom and scream the N-word into a pillow, that'd be pretty fucking weird, but I'd understand, I guess. So after several months of hiding from the public, she made her, like, fucking return to YouTube with, like, a 2+ hour video in which she's just kind of, like, on a phone call, ranting and raving with her friend who's a trans man. And she says, I don't need to tokenize people. My dad is black. Well, if you don't need to tokenize people, maybe you shouldn't bring a trans man on to, like, flaunt to your audience to prove that you're not any kind of ist or phobic. But also, maybe don't fucking keep saying your dad is black. Oh gosh, a lot of people truly do believe that Alicia is part black. Have you seen her? She's paler than I am. Her stepdad is half black. Now I understand. When your stepfather is the one who raised you, he can really feel like your real dad. If your biological dad just wasn't around, like, your stepdad's your dad. Cool, right? But you cannot use your stepdad's biology, racial and ethnic makeup to claim as your own. Which is interesting because she never claims Korean. Her stepdad is half black and half Korean. She never claims Korean. I wonder why that is. So she left her shit-fit, long-winded return to YouTube up for, like, I don't know, a day or two, and then she deleted it because it wasn't a good look. And then she returned to YouTube again, like, yesterday. I watched a TLDR because I cannot be fucked with Alicia. She speaks so slowly, and she never gets to the fucking point. But effectively, she came back and is just, like, explaining how she's been grieving the loss of one of her ex-boyfriends. And an issue I have with that is that we've seen this before. And it seems like she kind of does a lot to garner sympathy and to get people to go easy on her. One of her former friends, had bonded with Alicia over the fact that they had both lost a sibling. And then later on, Alicia goes, we were never friends. What are you talking about? Okay. The treatment of her friends, and arriving at the age of 30 not knowing you can't say certain words, all that aside, right? Alicia is a fucking menace to the internet. People who want to forgive her, people who want to not necessarily excuse, but, like, kind of understand and explain away her behavior. I suppose they did not bear witness to her behavior on Twitter, because sitting up on Twitter all day long and just going at people was her fucking main pastime. Girl had more hours in a day than the rest of us to spend on fucking Twitter picking fights with people, teaming up with fucking Ambrin and her following to just, like, go after people. Helloleesh managed to find every single time someone said anything about her, and she would fucking link it in her Discord so that everybody else in there could click that link and fucking go at the person. She did it to me twice on Twitter. And she did it to me once in Fat Sajak's comment section. Everyone was fucking scared to talk about her. And it wasn't until the bad word scandal and all of her former friends coming out en masse to say, we don't stand by her anymore, that I stopped being fucking afraid of her. I'm a whole ass grown woman. I shouldn't be afraid of her. But I was, because she's crazy. And I don't think she's changed, learned, or grown. I think that given the opportunity, she will just hop back up on her channel, bitch and moan about fucking Gabbie Hanna, maybe a little Trisha Paytas if we're lucky, and then just rage on Twitter. In addition to talking about her dead loved ones, she has this habit where when she's having like emotional breakdowns or panic attacks, she'll hop on a Patreon live stream so that people get to pay her in order to be her mental and emotional support animals. It just seems exploitative to me. I don't know, dude. If you want to forgive her, good for you. You got a better heart than I do. I still think she fucking sucks. I want to thank you for listening. I feel like forgiveness is very important, so I want you to forgive yourself for the time that you've wasted watching this video. And have a good day.